Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to go on a little journey. Our guide, a word so common, so everyday, you've probably said it a bunch of times today without even thinking about it. But what if I told you that inside this one simple word, there's a whole hidden story about how our language is actually built? So let's just jump right in. The big question we're asking is pretty simple. How much can a single word really teach us? Turns out, a whole lot. We're going to peel back the layers on this thing and see what's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. So, what's this big mystery word? It's nothing fancy, nothing complicated. In fact, it's about as basic as it gets. That's it. Wood. Seriously. The stuff trees are made of. The material for your floors, your furniture, for campfires. It just feels so solid, So simple and straightforward. But let's look a little closer, shall we? Okay, so to really get a word, linguists will tell you to start with its most basic fundamental property, its sound. How do we actually make that noise with our mouths? And how can we write that down in a way that anyone, anywhere can understand? Well, when linguists get their hands on a word, they strip it down to its purest sound. They use this thing called the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, to create what's basically a precise map for your mouth. For wood, that map looks like this. Wood. It's like a universal recipe that tells your mouth exactly how to produce that sound. It's the pure sound with everything else stripped away. And what's really wild is that the sound wood isn't one of a kind. Nope, it has a perfect sonic twin, the word wood. These are called homophones. They sound exactly the same, but their meanings live on completely different planets. One is a solid thing you can touch, the other is just an idea, a possibility. It's a great little reminder that in language, sound and meaning are two totally different things. All right, so we've got the sound down. Let's talk about meaning. If you had to define wood in the most simple, no-frills way possible, what would you say? It really doesn't get much clearer than that, does it? What trees are made of. And check out that little detail there. It's an uncountable noun. Think about it. You can't have 3 woods like you can have 3 logs. You just have wood, the substance. It's a tiny grammar rule, but it points to how we instinctively think about the material itself. So far, pretty straightforward, right? Common sound, simple meaning. But this is where our story takes a really cool turn, because wood isn't just any old word. It actually has a special status in the English language. And here's why. The word wood is on something called the Basic English 850 list. Now, this isn't just some random list. It was created way back in the 1930s to be a super simplified version of English for people around the world to use. To make the cut, a word had to be considered absolutely essential for communicating. Let's just pause on that number for a second. 850. Out of the hundreds of thousands of words in the entire English language, wood was chosen as one of the 850 words you need to get by to communicate pretty much any basic idea. That is an incredibly exclusive club. But wait, there's more. It's also one of the 1,000 most common headwords in major English language studies. So here's the kicker. This isn't just a word for a material we build with. It's a foundational pillar of the English vocabulary itself. It's a word we literally can't do without. Okay, for our final stop, let's see how this one core word grows. Because a fundamental word like wood doesn't just sit there all by itself. No, it acts like a root, sprouting new, related words and ideas. So from our core noun wood, we easily get woods, with an S on the end, and suddenly it means a place with a bunch of trees, like a forest. And we also get wooden, the adjective, which lets us describe anything that's made from that material. See how that works? It's how a language builds all its complexity from a simple, solid foundation. So, where does that leave us? We started with a word we all thought we knew, and we ended up with a story about sound, meaning, and just fundamental importance. We found out that wood isn't just common, it's been officially recognized as one of the essential building blocks of our language. Simple words really can have some amazing complex stories. And that pretty much wraps it up. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a word like wood is hiding all this, what other simple, everyday words that we use all the time are hiding their own big stories, just waiting for us to dig in? Thanks for joining me on this one.